then it will be easy for you to learn it. So one need not necessarily be a chartered accountant or a ICWA or cost accountant or anybody to learn this application. It's very easy to learn it, provided you practice it and understand it. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. It's easy to learn that. I too was only just a commerce postgraduate. Of course, I had a banking experience of 22 years when I learned it in the year 2001. Since 2002,
Oh,
I have been in this line, Oracle line, and
oh, okay.
and I have done a lot of implementations and also provided solutions to multiple clients in several countries, around 6 to 7 countries I worked. So all the places I only was the solution architect. I could do it only because I had a strong accounting background and also I have interest on this. I have interest
Okay.
on this. That's why I would able to do that. One become perfect if you practice it for 3 months. 3 months, if you practice it daily, 2 hours, 3 hours, it will be very, very easy for you. Then you will enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hope so.
I left my bank job only with a love and passion to Oracle applications.
Oh,
Uh,
that's nice.
I worked for 22 years in a bank, and out of my passion for this application, and I did not enjoy any charm in the bank. So
Okay.
I thought that as I go as a consultant here, then we can enjoy our life. We can enjoy, in the sense. So you will deal with the companies, or you will deal with the MDs, you will deal with the director of finances, and they will treat you very well if you have the sufficient knowledge, and you can provide them the solutions. They will treat you very well. That's what I
Oh,
have enjoyed all along. In all the countries where I did, I always had to have direct contacts with the MDs so that financial controllers or director of finances, we deal with them directly. They treat us as a consultant. That's what I enjoyed in this.
okay.
So I'm
So
not
you
inducing
choose.
you. Yeah, I'm not inducing you to join the course or something, but I'm sharing my experiences.
Okay, so you choose this because it's close to your existing path at that point of time.
Not only for the close for that, but I wanted to be an independent on my own, because in the bank, what you do, somebody will bring the money, he will put in his account, he will come and draw, and he will pay his money back. Every day,
Yes.
yeah, every day you will see crores of rupees, but that is not
Mm.
yours. Is it? So
Yeah.
if you if I wanted to fly in the flight in the bank LTC, that is leave travel concession or anything, I had to apply 1 month before. I will have to take permissions. So many restrictions. But whereas when I'm an independent consultant, I can book my
Mhm.
ticket anytime. Companies book my ticket. They request me. It was a really pleasurable job for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's the whole of it. Like once
Yeah,
you
of course, it
enjoy.
depends upon the individual's perception. Some people may like that, okay, if you are working in a bank or government, you will get pension, you will be happy, your job is safe and secure like that. But people like
Yes.
me who want to take challenges, so then career is a good thing, good path.
Yes.
I, I
You're right.
yeah, I love it so much that when my son has completed his engineering in the year 2009, though he got
Okay.
admission in US for MS, I did not let him go. I told him to learn Oracle so that
Mm-hmm.
work in Oracle and then get into a career, make it as a career. So
Oh, wow.
he too joined and now he is a Oracle HRMS consultant in US for the last 12 years.
Oh,
So,
that's a good role, right?
so like that. No, I'm telling that there is a every challenge here, and at the same time you can enjoy the pleasure once you learn it well. Of course, I'm telling on the condition that you practice
Mm-hmm.
well and you have command over the subject.
Okay.
Then only you can
Okay.
enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
unless until you understand what we are doing, like
What you are
it's
doing,
always
what we are
like,
doing, what they
yeah,
need, yeah, what they need, what the customer needs, and what solutions we can provide. With your name, same Renuka, but her name is Renuka Malireddy. She was my student in the year 2004.
okay.
So now then she left. She was a company secretary working for a company. she left that job and joined the training on Oracle applications. She has learned very well, and now she is in US. For the last 20 years, she is in US.
Oh,
Now
okay.
she is enjoying her career also. She was a postgraduate MCOM and ACS she has done. And also she was doing law when she was learning here Oracle applications. So like that,
Oh.
so many people have done.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, my
is it good?
husband works in Oracle, so that's how I mean, he
Excellent. Then when your husband is there, then he is a guide to you always, right?
hopefully. I don't know how much that
Hopefully.
helps.
Hopefully.
Yes, so he's the one, like when I asked, I want, like, not, I mean, not a this is functional, right? Like, but technical, you need to do the coding and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
is
I'm not into coding at all. I know that. So
absolutely believe that there is no need for you to do any coding here except small SQL statements.
okay, okay.
That you can learn in 1 week or 15 days, you can master it. If you learn that, Oracle is there, structured query language. That is not a programming language, it is only query. Select so-and-so from so-and-so table like that. If you understand it, you can write that.
Yeah, yeah, I have little idea on
About that,
yeah,
yes. If you
the,
are
the
through,
queries.
if you are good in it, then there is no problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That part
Excellent.
I understand. I mean, those queries and all. Yes, I have
Yeah.
an idea of them, but
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
So
Nice,
he's the one
nice
actually
meeting.
who referred this. I
Yeah.
mean, asked me to do this, so because it doesn't have any, like, coding and stuff.
Coding, yes, yes, that's true.
But again, the words, whatever you all speak earlier, are I'm not at all familiar. It's new to me, but I know it's the first time when you listen, like, it's it's always like that, right?
No, you will see, there are certain words everywhere, wherever you go, to any field you go, you will have certain catch words, right? They will have their
Mm-hmm.
own language.
Mm,
So
yes.
like that, this you will get familiarized. As you go ahead, you will know what is a chart of account structure, what is that calendar, what is the currency, what is a ledger. All these things you will get used to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely no problem for that.
Yep.
And I think Mr. Mahesh, we had Renuka, we met, Hemant, we met, and Deepthi also I met, I think, right? Deepthi? Hi, Deepthi, are you there? I think all other people I had introduction to them when I was giving a demo. Tirupati Garu, can we start? Any other people are joining?
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah, we can start, right? Formal class,
Yes,
just like
yes,
that. Introductory
yes,
class I will take today, so that
yes.
as and when other people join, we can also continue like that. Okay, let us start then. Yeah, good morning to everyone. Am I audible to you all, please?
Yes.
Yeah, fine. The course we are trying to learn today, from today onwards, is called Oracle Fusion Financials. Or we can add cloud also, Oracle Fusion Cloud Financials Applications. This is what the course we are learning it. Like any other application, we see so many applications. Like mobile applications we see, or nowadays every bank has got an application of their own. You can log into the system, you can generate your statement from the application. You can do everything. That means database. It is connected to a database. So like this, here we are showing only the financials application of the Oracle. Oracle is an ERP. ERP means, is an enterprise resources planning. Oracle is an Oracle ERP. That's what we are learning here. That is enterprise resources solution, enterprise resources planning. Enterprise resources planning. So this system is there. It has to work with the enterprise wide. It will take care of. It is not just an accounting package. It is not just any purchasing package or any sales package. Not. It is a compartmentalized one. It is an integrated software. The ERP software is an integrated one. Integrated software having integration with multiple activities. ERP software is a well integrated one working across different areas of operations of an enterprise. This is not for any single company. This is for an enterprise. We are using the word here called enterprise. What is an enterprise? Enterprise is a large business organization. Enterprise is a large business organization. It can have companies business across the globe. It can be working across the globe. So enterprise ERP is meant for large business organizations. Why I say it is only for large business organizations? Why not a small organization can implement it? Yes, definitely they can implement it. First of all, there is no need for them. If you have got operations in only one office you have in Hyderabad and you are managing only 20 people doing a particular small work, so then there is no need for you to have the integration. You go for the ERP. Everything is in front of you. You know how many people you have staffed. You know what are the works you are doing, how it can be executed. You yourself can plan it. Buying an ERP package or subscribing for it for a cloud package is a costly affair. When everything is available in front of you, there is no need to get any information for you to take a decision. But whereas if you have an operations across India, assume that your company is operating only in India. You have got around 40, 50 locations your operations are going on. So if you want to know how much is the stock available in particular location and how many sales were made, otherwise what you need to do, you will have to get the report from them. From each location has to send you a report and you will have to compile that report to get the right information. Latest information, you cannot get it. But whereas if it is in the ERP, because in the ERP, we use the central server. Everything is connected to the central server of different locations. One server will have the data, right, for every operations of it. Every operations of every location also here. It will have a centralized data. Server will be sitting as a central server. So everywhere, every location, every department across the country, they can connect to the same server. This is a central server. That means where every information is sitting here. Every information will be sitting here. And you do the operations of various activity. Every operation you can do that. You may have purchasings, right? First of all, what you need to do, you will buy some items. Purchasing you will have. Then you will have to make the payments, payables. Then you will have the inventory, stocks. Then you may have the sales orders. Then you may have against the sales orders, you may get accounts receivable. Then when you get the account receivable, then you may have to have the cash management. Then you will have the fixed assets also. Fixed assets also. So though this purchasing, inventory, sales is not our area of operation here, because this is not part of financials. Sales, purchasing is not our part, but operations take place. That's what I mean to say to you. So now, after everything is there, you will have to have the general ledger. Entries have to sit in the general ledger here also, inventory, and you will have general ledger, accounting part of it. So these are all the things that we will be learning. We will learn the general ledger, we will learn the payables, account receivables, cash management, fixed assets. So every asset of the company, every operation of the company, the entries or the records in the subledgers, so they will sit in the same server here. Same server, they will sit. So getting an information is very easy for us. At any point of time, you can get any information about the locations and other things. So why the operations of this can be done? Oracle also, when we say that the operations of all these are sitting in one particular server of various companies of various countries, it is sitting there, then you may get a doubt how we will be able to retrieve the information. So that Oracle is following, or any ERP packages, any softwares also will follow one structure while developing the software. So that while inputting the data itself, the data will sit in a particular location, in a particular area it will sit, so that it will be easy for you to get it, get the back. On the top in the fusion, this is called enterprise. Enterprise is a large business organization. On the top it will sit, one enterprise will be there. This enterprise will have so many ledgers. Because they are working in countries, it will be followed by ledgers. Enterprise needs ledgers because the enterprise means it's a business organization or even a service organization, but they will have to keep track of the operations they are carrying on. Right? How much they received the money, how much they spent, on which account they have spent, and how much balance is left out, what are their plans. All these have to be done. So when they do the transactions definitely will have financial effect on that, and system has to create a journal entry. Accounting part has to take place. So that's why enterprise has to use necessarily one ledger or many ledgers. One ledger, in which case, if they have operations only in one country, so then they can go for only one ledger, because the ledger has 4 parts of it. One is chart of accounts. That means list of accounts, chart of accounts, and also currency, calendar, and subledger accounting method. SLAM, we can say SLAM subledger accounting method. I'm giving the abbreviations here. That's called subledger accounting methods. So if your company is operating only in India, you can have only one ledger. But your company has operations in multiple countries, like USA. Your transactions in USA are to be recorded only in the US dollars. You cannot record them in rupees. So that's why you'll have to create another ledger for it. So one enterprise can have either one ledger or it can have multiple ledgers based on its scope of operations across the globe, and also in which countries, how many countries, those many ledgers they will have to create. We have created ledger, no doubt. In this ledger, how many transactions, how many companies, legal entities can adapt a ledger like that. Under the ledger will be followed by some of the legal entities. Legal entity will come under the ledger because legal entity will use one ledger for recording their transactions, right? One ledger can be used by multiple legal entities as long as they have got the common 4 C's: chart of accounts, currency, calendar, and subledger accounting method. One of the C's is taken from the accounting. That's why they call it as 4 C's. The legal entity can adapt one ledger that suits for them. Any company incorporated in India, they will definitely have the calendar, same calendar, fiscal type of calendar that starts on 1st April and ends up on the 31st March of next year. That's calendar. Chart of accounts means list of accounts. What are the accounts they will use in the general ledger? Then you will have currency. When you are doing operations in India, you will have to carry out your transactions only with Indian rupees. You will have to report. You will have to produce the financial statements at the end of the year only in Indian rupees. You cannot produce in dollars. So that's why ledger is always associated with a chart of accounts, calendar, and currency, and subledger accounting method. Subledger accounting means I will deal with you. What are all the subledgers? What is the general ledger? And what is the connection between general ledger and the subledgers? So any number of legal entities. Suppose take for example Tata is there in India. So the Tata group can follow either one ledger, only one ledger for the entire India. All the company's operations can be recorded into the same ledger, right? All the companies like Tata Motors and Tata Chemicals and Tanishq Jewelries and also Titan Watches, whatnot, everything. You got Tata, so many companies are there, TCS. What all the companies they have got, everything company can use only one ledger to record their transactions and can produce their own trial balance, their own profit and loss account, their own balance sheet, right? We don't need to mix everything. Tata Group, we are not mixing there. Every individual company can have its own data, right? Partitioned in the same server. The server can accommodate them. How it will accommodate, how their accounts can be segregated, we will learn it as we progress. So after the legal entity, one legal entity can have multiple business units. Company. This is a structure, hierarchy. One enterprise can have multiple ledgers. One ledger can be followed by one legal entity or multiple legal entities. One legal entity can have business units, right? Under that, one legal entity must have necessarily one legal entity. Definitely, it should have legal entity. Without, one legal entity must have a business unit. Without having business unit, they cannot carry out any transactions in their subledgers. Their subledgers means accounts payable, account receivable, everything. If they have to have those operations at the legal entity level, we cannot do anything. We can do them only at the business unit level. Business unit is a part of a legal entity. Legal entities operations are carried out through business unit. Either one business unit is a must. If you have multiple business units, you can have it. Suppose take for Tata Salt, you can, or Tata Chemicals, you can take. Tata Chemicals is a legal entity. Is a legal entity. Legal entity. So this entity, sorry, spelling it wrong. Tata company is a legal entity. That means company. Legal entity means a person created by law. So that's called legal entity. So this company has got operations. They have so many plants. So each one can be independently working. They can do the operations independently there in the locations. Suppose now Tata here, Tata Chemicals is a company, right? They have got fertilizer plant that is there in UP, Babrala, UP. Their fertilizer plant is there in the Babrala, UP. And they have got here Tata Salt is working there, Tata Salt plant. That is in Dwarka, Gujarat. Here, the line of business is different. Company is one. One company can have multiple operations, though they both come under the chemical zone. Chemicals, they produce the fertilizers plant in Babrala, and the company, same company also produces salt from Dwarka, Gujarat. Tomorrow they may have another one also, Tata Salt, they can do it in the Chennai or even in the Visakhapatnam or wherever the beach or wherever the sea is there, wherever the quality salt they can get. They can also have another plant they can start. So that also will become a business unit. Whatever the operations are done at the business unit level, those operations will be translated into the financial statements and the company only will produce the statements. This is called, a company is also called GRE, Government Reporting Entity. Legal entity is also called as GRE. GRE, that means Government Reporting Entity. Anything that they will have to report because it is registered with the government with a name. Tata Chemicals is the name that is registered with the government, enterprise, entity. So that legal entity only is responsible to produce the financial statements to the governments at the end of the year or to the stockholders, right? Or to the stock exchanges or to the shareholders. So like this, they have to produce the balance sheets. So whatever they operate here, it will ultimately go into the seat in the legal entity. Whatever the salt operations also take place, right? It will ultimately go into the legal entity and sit there. That's why a legal entity must necessarily have one business unit, but it can have multiple business units to carry out their operations. So each business unit can have an inventory organization under that, right? Next, below that business unit, you have inventory organizations. Below that, we have the inventory organizations. So inventory organization means it is a logical organization where the certain items, where you stock the items, on the lines of inventory organization. So under the inventory organization, you can have sub-inventories. You will have the sub-inventories. Under the sub-inventories, you can have locators. This is how the structure is made in the system. Locators. Locators means when you go to a mall or in Lulu mall or anywhere, you will see that the items are stored segregated in such a way that arranged in such a way that you can easily locate an item. If you go to a mall, the boards are displayed so that your cosmetic items are there in this row, and also your provision items are there in this row. Your dry fruits are available in this row. Like that, you will go. Within the row also, you will have also rack. You will have different companies' products. That rack also, you will have multiple pigeon holes like bins. They are called row rack bins. That's how it will go to the row rack bins locators. Easy to identify. Rows, racks, and bins. That's how it will be organized. So easy to identify. This inventory is a logical organization because you cannot store items in the inventory organization. It is only a logical organization or grouping of the sub-inventories. A group of sub-inventories is called inventory organization. This is a logical one. This is a physical one. That means logically it is organized. Logical. This is a physical. Physically, items will be stored in the sub-inventories, but logically they are tied together as this one. Sub-inventories are physical ones. Physically, we store the material in the sub-inventories only. What you say? I can give an example like that. Hyderabad is a logical organization. But where do we people live here? When you say you are going to Hyderabad, Hyderabad is a large, vast city. So you will live in a particular place, either Kokotpalli, Amirpet, or Vanasthalpuram, or Amirpet, or Jubilee Hills, Banjara Hills, like that. That is the place where people will physically live. But nomenclature, this is psychologically or it is logically, you say it is Hyderabad. Hyderabad is nothing but the combination of multiple locations within the city. So like that it is, though you say inventory organization, so that it says physically which place, which part of it. Suppose you take Ratnadeep as an example. Ratnadeep entire thing can be there only in inventory organization. They say Hyderabad inventory organization and Bangalore inventory organization. And within the Bangalore or within Hyderabad, you may have that Ratnadeep can store the items in different parts. In Srinagar, they may have one. In Jubilee Hills, they may have one. In Banjara Hills, they may have one store. So that is where physically they are storing their items. So that is called sub-inventories. Each store can be defined as a sub-inventory. Within the store, you have multiple locators. Item-based locators you can go. So like this it comes. So whenever you are recording the transactions, you follow the structure. System is set up on these lines. So when you input the data, you will select automatically. System will select. When you select a legal entity, that means legal entity is already assigned to a ledger. We assign legal entity to a ledger. So whatever the operations you do for this legal entity, automatically they go and sit into this ledger. So that is how the structure helps us to segregate the data, though we create the data for multiple organizations here. And also here, we need to know the structure we know here, the enterprise everything structure, how they work, and how we will be able to manage it, how you will be able to manage the software and what type of setups we have to make that. So when you define the enterprise here, we give all the HR related. This is HR works at enterprise. HR works at enterprise. Ledgers. We can have the general ledger and fixed assets. Assets work at ledger level. And legal entity, we define the bank accounts, cash management, bank accounts. We define for the companies. And business unit level, you will do accounts payable, accounts receivable, order management, that means sales, purchasing, inventory. Inventory, we can say inventory level, like projects, service, all these modules will work at this business unit level. If you want to make payment, you will make payment on behalf of a business unit. That's why I said one legal entity should necessarily have one business unit. Without having business unit, legal entity on its own cannot make payments. Though you are making the payment for a legal entity, the legal entity has no structure to make the payments. So if at all legal entity has to make payments or it has to receive money from the customers, a company, it has to necessarily create a business unit, and that business unit should be assigned the business unit functions. What are the functions that the business unit can perform? The business unit can perform all these activities. So now your inventory next level comes with the inventory is dealt with at the inventory level, inventory organization level. Inventory module will work at the inventory operation level. This is what it is there. Sub-inventory, of course, inventory only, it is a logical one, it is a physical one. Inventory will come and sit here to these locators, and inventory is displayed in the locators. Ultimately, finally, in the sub-inventory, you can have multiple locators. The item will sit in that locator, particular locator or room allocated for it. So this is the one here. The peculiar thing what we need to know about them is, enterprise, when we say, we can have only one enterprise for the entire installation. We can create only one enterprise for one installation. One installation means one instance. Software. For Oracle software, when you integrated software and when you install it, you can create only one enterprise. You cannot create multiple enterprises. Multiple enterprise is only one. But whereas in R12, we can create multiple business groups corresponding to that enterprise. We can say not exactly corresponding, but the top organization in R12 was a different. I will explain to you. I will compare both of them when we go to the applications. So here, enterprise is only one enterprise we can create. So then ledgers, we can create as many ledgers as we want. We can create as many ledgers as we want. Depending upon our operations. Our operations. Our operations. Your operations are only in India, one ledger is enough. If you have got multiple country operations, you need to necessarily create multiple ledgers. So legal entity is also like that. System allows us. Not only that, business-wise, I'm telling, even the system allows us to create multiple ledgers. There is no problem, but enterprise is only one enterprise, it will allow. So we can create multiple legal entities, as many legal entities as we want. We can create as many legal entities as we want, right? Based on our need. If you want to create one company, definitely you'll have to operate. When I had my own company here in India, I had a company in India. When I went to other countries for implementation, I had to necessarily open a company there because the operations, they cannot carry on there without having a company, legal entity. So like that, we can create as many legal entities as we can, as we want also rather. Business unit means we need to have one business unit necessarily. We need to create one business unit for legal entity, for each legal entity to carry out their operations. Otherwise, they cannot do any operation, one legal, but we can have any, but no limit for the, no maximum, but no maximum limit. If you want to have 10 business units, system allows you to do the business units. But when we create business units, 10 business units, if you want to implement accounts payable, you will have to implement, make setups in all the 10 business units because it works at the business unit level. Each business unit may have different roles. So that's why you will have to make setup again and again for how many number of business units. These parts, these activities you want to play, then you will have to make the setup in all the business units independently, separately. So inventory organizations work here. Every business every business unit should necessarily have one inventory organization. To store their items. When they place a purchase order, they will have to receive the material. And keep somewhere. So definitely they will have to have one inventory organization, whether it is a manufacturing company or whether it is a distribution company, or even if you do not have that, every company organization needs some items, expense items or maintenance items. So those things they will have to store. They are also items. So some spare parts or some washing material, anything, items that you will have to store like that, they will have to have one inventory organization, that where we define the items and where we maintain the items for the company to use. So this is a logical organization. We can create sub-inventories. We can create as many sub-inventories as we need under an inventory organization. Suppose you have inventory organization is there to store the items, logically to store the items. Suppose you are dealing with 10 products and you want to have one sub-inventory for each product. Then you can create 10 sub-inventories for that. So like that, as many sub-inventories the situation or your necessity demands, so those many sub-inventories we can create in the system. Locators, of course, we can have as many locators we can have. As many locators as we need, we can create. That's what is the organization structure it is. So now these are all activities are taking place. And now we can talk about the integration of it. The financials modules will sit somewhere. Everything will be this. This is called single unified software. The software is not compartmentalized on the lines of operations. No, definitely it is not there. So this is an integrated software. Oracle ERP or any other ERP for that matter, they should be integrated softwares. So it should avoid redundancies. That means unnecessarily you don't need to keep the data in multiple places. Unnecessarily you don't need to enter the record multiple times. If you enter one time, so that must be visible in all the places wherever it is necessary. So that's why it is integrated software means, when I will give you an example, take for example supplier. So supplier means, why do we create suppliers? Why do we need to have the suppliers? Why do we have suppliers? Why do we maintain the suppliers list? Or why do we create suppliers in our list, in our system? Can anyone answer me? Simple question it is. What is the role of a supplier to our organization? As an individual, you also will have so many suppliers, right? So many vendors. Milk vendor will be there. You have a
Yes,
big basket or any
the
item. Yeah?
suppliers will provide the products of any
Yes.
inventory
Yeah,
required
correct.
for our
Correct.
organization.
Supplies base we maintain because we may have to buy certain items. Every organization has to necessarily buy, right? An organization means we make a setup, right? An organization, you'll have to have an office. So you'll have to buy a laptop. You'll have to employ the people. So there must be somebody who can support you. AC is there. AC has to be maintained. Some supplier who can provide you the service, he is also treated as a supplier because he provides us the services. So supplier. So on the supplier, we place a purchase order. We create a supplier and place purchase order in him, right? We place purchase order, we create suppliers in the purchasing module to create purchase orders, POs on him, purchase orders on him for either material or for a service, for items or for services. mechanic services, or it can be a services like that. We can provide. We create suppliers. Then we make the payment. We have to make payment. We have to make payment to the vendors, right? For the services we have received payments for the vendors or suppliers. Vendors for the goods received or services taken from them. Services taken from them. They will give the invoice and in the payables, right? The suppliers submit invoice. We enter it in the payables. And make the payment. And we make the payment. While entering the invoice, what we need to do? You cannot just like the enter from which supplier we have received the money and for what purpose we are paying him, whether there is really a purchase order exists in the system or not, there is a valid purchase order or not, or against the purchase order, how much we have ordered in the purchase order and how many quantity he has supplied to us. So how much we should pay, that will be decided by the payables module based when we match the purchase order or the GRN, goods receipt note, to the invoice while making the payment. So while entering the invoice also we need the supplier's name. In the payables module we pay. We pay it in the payables module. There also we need the supplier information. There also we need the supplier information. If the system is not integrated, if the purchasing module and accounts payable is not integrated, here we have to necessarily enter the data of the supplier again. Is it not? When you are making the payment, you have to say to which supplier you are making the payment. You have to have the information. So that is not necessary in the case of ERPs. The purchasing and payables, they both are integrated. This is the purchase module, purchasing and payables modules are tightly integrated to share the information. Information. So how much is the supplier name will apply. The details of the supplier are stored in a common table shared by both these applications. The details of supplier are stored in a common table shared by both these applications. What are those two applications? Your purchasing and payables. Once you enter in the supplier in the either, so we can create supplier in purchasing or we can create supplier in the payables. So even if we create him in the payables, same supplier will appear in the purchasing for raising the purchase orders. Even if you create the supplier in the purchasing module, you can also select the same purchaser for making the payment in the accounts payable module. So that's why tightly integrated. We do not need to enter the information again and again. We can just create information in some place and the same information is available across the application wherever there is need for us to have that information. So that's why we say ERP is a package, a software, a single software that is totally integrated with other applications as well. So the entire information is stored in one single server here. So at any point of time, if you want to retrieve the information to generate a report, it will be very easy for you. And the report will be a comprehensive report. You can have any location you want to have or any company across the globe you want to have. So that information of that particular company or particular organization, particular business unit or particular inventory organization, you can get the information. So that's why the more and more companies are going in for implementing the ERP for readily accessing the information any point of time. Easy to access the information without third parties intervention. Third parties means you may have to have some consultants who can work for you But once they are there, any information you want to have, you can get it within few seconds or few minutes, right? So that's what this ERP, we are going to learn that now. I'm not going to the specific module now as it is, because let me introduce the application overall, how it works. So then it will be easy for us to understand when we go to learn the applications. Any doubt anybody has or any information you want to have from me, please feel free to ask me the questions. I'm here to clarify to you.
Sir, so like different legal entities can be assigned to one ledger, right, sir?
Correct. Yes. As long as they follow the same chart of accounts, same currency, and same calendar.
Okay, sir.
Suppose here you have in India, as I told you, one ledger you have created. We have here Tata India primary ledger you create. Tata India primary ledger. This is one ledger. This ledger has got, what is the currency? Here we have got Indian calendar and INR currency and India chart of accounts and subledger accounting method, SLA. One subledger accounting method you are following, Indian subledger, right? Indian conventions. So any company that is following, now here you have got Tata Chemicals. They also have got the same 4. So Tata Motors has got the same 4. And right? Or TCS. Assume that TCS India is following the same chart of accounts. But whereas Tata Motors, they have got a different chart of accounts. They can go for the different ledger. India calendar, India chart of accounts. These two can follow this ledger because they follow the same. They follow the same here. So that's why these two companies can follow as long as because these 4 C's are there. So here in Indian chart of accounts number 1, I can say that India chart of accounts 1. They are following India chart of accounts 1. They both are following the same chart of accounts. So now calendar anyway, it has to be same. They cannot follow different currency because they're in India. And currency should necessarily be INR. Only thing is chart of accounts. That means list of accounts, how you want to have, how minutely you want to go for the accounts, drill down. Suppose one company may say total traveling expenses. The expenses is one of their GL accounts. Traveling expenses is the one of the GL. They want to know only traveling expenses. I don't want to go how much train fare I have paid, how much flight tickets I have booked, how much hotel expenses, how much per diem I have paid to my employees on business trips. I don't mind. So they will go for only one account here. Some other companies, they may want to have the minute level of it. They want to track minute level. Their job is only to provide services to the customers. Always their employees will be flying. Always their employees will be providing the service. So most of their their expenses will be on the travel only. So any company has to reduce their expenses, right? They will try to reduce their expenses. So then they will have to see that how much money we have spent on flight tickets. Is it necessary to go only by flight? Can't we make arrangements in the train tickets alternatively? Now that Vande Bharat came, companies may think that Vande Bharat also can go in 6 hours to Bangalore. Why to book a flight ticket to them? So this kind of thinking can be done when we have the minute information with you. So like that, in that case, if this Tata Motors is having another company here, another chart of accounts, 2, India chart of accounts 2, that means their level of looking into the accounts is different, minute way they want to do. So they are following India chart of accounts 2, India COA 2. Then they will have to create another ledger, Tata Motors ledger. Why? Because their chart of accounts is different. To follow them, these two companies are following because The chart of accounts is common, calendar common, currency common, subledger account is common. Because this is differing here. Any one of the constituents changes, then we have to create a different ledger for them. Because while posting that, you can have that. Another way of that is also is there that we can create a global chart of accounts. We can say these people's total accounts we can create. Some of the accounts can be viewed by them. Some of the accounts can be viewed by these people by applying a security rules. That we can see later on. But per se, as it is, basically, if any one of the constituents changes, we have to have one ledger. Separate ledger has to be created. Right? Any number of legal entities can follow it. That's why we create chart of account structure is there for us. We create system. Oracle has given a facility for us to record the transactions of different companies differently. While inputting the data itself, while posting the data into the server itself, the system knows for which company this data is going, for which location, for which department, for which account. All these things will be recorded in the system based on the minute level. So that's why retrieving the data from the system is very, very easy at any point of time. Are you clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions or any other doubts or any other information you need, please? I don't get questions only when on two occasions. When you understand fully or you did not understand my lecture. Right? If you are okay with this, then today we can stop at this level. Or if you want any questions also, please feel free to ask me again. I'll be answering to you. Otherwise, we can meet tomorrow again. Shall we call it a day?
Uh, the course structure and all these recordings will be provided through the email which we have provided.
Yes, true that. See, every day the classes will be for 1.5 duration, depending upon the track you register with them. You can talk all these details with Mr. Tirupati, but whenever these lectures are being recorded, they will be recorded and you will be given that video type sometime like that. What modus operandi they are following, you can please talk to Mr. Tirupati. But the lectures will be there minimum. This course is, I can explain to you the course part of it. So we are learning financials, Oracle Fusion Financials. Oracle Fusion Financials. This part will contain 5 modules. Basic modules on this is one of the product families. We call it offering in the Fusion. Before we used to call it as a product family. Now in the Fusion, we call it as offerings. Each product family is an offering now in the Fusion. In the financial stream, there are so many modules in the financial stream also, but the core modules are here ultimately general ledger, then accounts payable, then accounts receivable, then you have cash management, then you have fixed assets. These are the 5 modules that we will be learning here fully. Apart from that, we have got another also here. Oracle supply chain also is there. In the Oracle supply chain, you have modules like purchasing, you will have inventory, and you will have order management. And there are several other modules also, but basically I'm talking about these 3 modules here. So when we say this, we are teaching you the financials also have to have some integration with these modules, as I explained to you before. So when you say a payment you will make against a purchase order. While making the payment, you will have to match your invoice to a purchase order. So we need to know how the purchase order is raised, what is the requisition, how the items are to be created. So like that, we will know that. So now we'll teach about the purchasing also. We'll teach around basics of the purchasing and its integration with payables is taught. Basics of purchasing module, purchasing and its integration with AP is taught. So that you will understand it. At least you will know something about the purchasing. Tomorrow, when you go to a company, join a company, and the company feels that there are no projects on financials, we have got a project on supply chain. Can you work on that? So you must be in a position to understand. If you know some basics, then you can develop yourself. They will give you training and they will adapt you. If you say, I don't know anything, that's not good. So now we need to have some knowledge about the purchasing. That's why we give the basics of purchasing and also some all the how to match the purchase orders. What is the integration between this? We will teach them. So against a purchase order, you also will receive the material. So to place a purchase order, we need to have an item. So we need to define an item to place purchase order. To place a PO and also to receive it into the inventory. So the basics are taught. Basics are how to define an item, what is an inventory organization, how to create it, how to create sub-inventories to the inventory organization. So those things will teach you there to understand basic. Inventory is a vast module again on its own. Yeah, it will not be possible to cover the entire syllabus in this financial stream. There is separate supply chain stream is there. Their students, they will be taught extensively, they will be taught. So in the order management also, once you sell, we have to enter the order, we'll have to book the order, we'll have to ship the material to the customer. So those sales orders information will automatically flow into the account receivable module for the raising invoices on the customer. We supply the material here and system automatically creates invoices on the customers through account receivable module, right? We enter sales orders. We book the sales orders and we confirm and ship confirmation done, ship confirm the order. That means supply the material. System creates invoices in AR. We are entering orders in the order management, but the invoices are created in the account receivable module. How it is possible? So there should be definitely an integration between the order management and also the account receivable. What all the information we enter it, we do not need to manually create invoices for the goods we supply to the customers. When you supply the material in the order management, the order management module will interface the data, the required data. Who is the customer? What is the quantity? What is the rate? What is the payment terms? And what are the payment terms? And how much he has to get information? It will pass on the same executed orders. Information will be passed on to the account receivable. So that's why we'll have to know something about the order management also. As the case in the case, basics of order management and its integration with account receivable will be taught to you. So at the end of the day, the customers expect nowadays procure to pay process, procure to pay, and also order to cash. These are the two processes. Basically, the companies are expecting the customers to know. So you need to have not end to end, but at least touch and go level, you need to know the other process also. They are not watertight compartments. Procurement and payables, they are not two watertight compartments. They are integrated. So when you say you are a payable consultant, you should also know something about it, something about the purchasing also, so that you can perform it well. Your working can be very easy, right? That's why they expect the payables. In this case, one should have knowledge about the general ledger is a basic, everything, and purchasing and payables. These three modules you will have to have knowledge. Anyway, we'll teach general ledger perfectly, and also the payables also we'll teach you. And purchasing integration with the payables is taught here. So then it's fine. So order to cash means we need to know general ledger. General ledger because every sub ledger, any invoice accounting entries in the payables invoice or your receivable invoice in the account receivable module. When you create the invoices, you need to create accounting entries, post them into the general ledger again. So you need to have the basic knowledge of the general ledger. And also here, instead of purchasing, order management and receivables. General ledger, order management, and receivables. Here, receivables is our own part here. General ledger is our part. We do it fully for you. Fully means you can understand. There are so many functionalities senior can do, but most of the topics will be taught to you so that you will feel comfortable. They are financials. Purchasing is that one. It is a small. We'll teach basics of in that. Whereas in this case, you know already general ledger is taught. Whether it is payables or anything, general ledger is common. So now here you will be, as a functional consultant, general ledger you will be thorough, and you will be thorough with the receivables module also. And receivables module also. Order management is not necessary for you for a supply chain consultant, but as a functional consultant of financials, you need to know why the invoice is not created. What is the mistakes that the people have done in the sales order, right? So these information basics, you can go to the order management and you yourself can work on that. So that's why you can learn the procure to pay process, order to cash process. Specifically, general ledger will be thorough, payables will be thorough, but basics of purchasing and basics of order management and basics of order inventory module also you will learn here. The total course, to teach this course, it will take not less than 90 hours teaching. Teaching will be is minimum of 90 hours. Depending upon your interest, it may go more also. Minimum 90 hours is required. If I say I can teach you in 60 hours or 1 month, I'm just rushing you through that, right? Unless we take morning, afternoon, evening, daily 3 classes we take, we can cover it in 1 month also. So then practice is also very essential. Practice of 2 to 3 hours is essential. Even if you have already done those who have completed the e-business suite also, you will understand the processes, same processes, not much of difference. Of course, there is a difference of the process-wise. They have avoided some processes. They have introduced some new processes here. To understand them, it is easy for you, but navigation is totally different. The concepts are new concepts, and though the process and everything is same, but the way they operate it here in Fusion is different. Navigations and also some of the redundant processes are avoided here. So that we will learn one by one. So at least if you practice 2 to 3 hours a day, it will be easy for you to understand that day's course, and you will be ready to